Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kezia. I am doing a lot of panning projects, and today we're going to do the update of Panda's palettes. I'm currently working on 3 palettes, one that I want to finish in total, one where I want to hit all of the pans, and one that I want to hit all of the pans but in order. So let's start with that one, the Panda Palette in order, which was inspired by Taylor Buell. I did have in the Penner's pan last year and the year before I had her in, and I started working on this one and I just didn't want to quit that. So this year I decided to put it into this project. So we ended up last week with having 9 pans in this. So that means that we're over halfway, which is so exciting. So I was working on shade number 10. This is a shade that I didn't particularly like, but it was light enough for me to use it. So this is where we ended up for today. So as you can see, we have a pan here. Yay! We have our 10th pan and we only have 6 shadows left. Can we do it this year? I don't know. It would be amazing if we could. And there's a chance. There is a chance that I could if I just get past this next shade, which I am using today with some reds and golds. I am more of a cool toned person. I like cool tones, but I have realized this year, especially when I have played around, that if I just use warm tones, in the rest of my face, like warm toned bronzers and blushes and all of that, it works so much better. I look so much better. I didn't really know that much about color theory, or I didn't implement it in my makeup journey, let's say, before. And I mean, I know how to blend colors, but I've never, thought that much about cooler and warmer colors in that way. I've just been playing around and, I like that color and I like that color. And sometimes I know what goes together and sometimes I don't. But anyway, warm tones hasn't been a thing for me. I am getting more and more into them, and I have learned that I can use warm tones, which is such a nice feeling to know that I can use actually all of the colors. I just have to pair them up with the right clothes and the right rest of my face products for them to be able to work for me. However, that being said, I like cool tones so much more in general, also with what I'm wearing and stuff. So if I'm not wearing something warm toned, I don't want to have it in my face either. So I'm not doing a ton of warm toned looks, even though I did to get this done. Yeah, I used it 9 times. So that's not a lot for a matte, but since it's so light, I could go in pretty heavy-handed. And that's how I got pan. Like I said, this is the first time I'm using this shade though, and I feel like this is the kind of look I have to go for if I want to hit pan on this. They are pretty similar, as you can see, but this one is darker, and so I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I can have pan in a month. If I can, that would be amazing, but I will not have that as a goal. As of right now, I don't feel like I want to. We'll see what I'll do, with the rest of the shades in the rest of the projects. But anyway, we have a pan and we're working towards getting pans in all of this palette. Now let's move on to the palette that I want to finish totally, and that is my Candy Haze palette from Revolution. And I worked on this for the whole last year, and I was so successful. Mostly, I didn't finish it, obviously, but I only had a few shades left and I didn't have too much in those shades. So last month, we ended up with 3 shadows left. And I think my goal was just to use it whenever I wanted. I only have 3 shades left, and 2 of them are pretty close to be finished, and 1, I have a longer journey on, let's say. But I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. I think I can finish all of them until the end of the year, and that's why I could have that goal, just use it whenever, And I hope you will be able to see the difference now when I show you what it looks like right now. So we haven't finished any shades, but we're so close. We're so close. This one, Gaze, I've used 17 times, and you can see there's just a sliver of product left up here. I will definitely be able to finish this until the next update. And the same goes for the shade Sweet. This one I've only used 6 times, but you can see that, you know, there's a big difference anyway from the last month. So I think both of these will go within maybe 5 uses each. Really, I don't think I need to use them 5 times each, but I do think I can finish them up within 5 uses. Then I really hope you can see some kind of difference in the silver shade Sky right here. I hope you can see some kind of like pan expansion. However, I haven't really been focusing my brush anywhere, so I've been going, you know, anywhere and kind of shallowing it out, let's say. So I don't know if you can see any difference, but I have used it and I will just continue to use it. I like using it as like an impactful shimmer, like, or an impactful silver, or I can just dust it over any cool toned eye look and it will just sparkle a little, and it can be really subtle as well, which I like. I like that you can do both with it. So this palette will definitely look different by the next update. I can guarantee you that. If everything goes to plan, I will be able to finish those 2. Maybe we can have even more of a pan expansion in this one, and then this one will be the only shade left in this palette. Oh, it's so exciting. Okay, let's move on to the last palette, which is my Hey Reindeer palette from Odin's Eye. I am working on all of the shades that don't yet have pan in them, and my goal for this month was to hit 1 additional pan. Now, I thought I would hit pan in Christmas Stocking or Snow Wish. I did not. However, I did hit pan in Eggnog. So this is what it looks like right now. And I hit pan on this one today when I was supposed to do this update. And I don't know if I've ever been this late in filming actually. Usually I like to be early with my filming and putting it up on YouTube and all of that. Today I have to film this and I have to edit it and I have to upload it until tonight. So yeah, I'm very late in filming. But finally we're like on the same page, you and I. You know, we're on the same day. So I hit pan on this today doing this look. I had it in my like inner part of my eyelids. And I did really not think this was the one I was going to hit pan on. But you know, hey, it's okay. I also have a really big dip in Snow Wish, which is a dark brown. I don't know why they called this shade Snow Wish. Don't know. But anyway, every day I think I'm going to hit pan on this. I use it in my brows. I have it on today. Yeah, I just think every day that I'm going to hit pan. Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is the day. And I'm just not getting there. But I am picking up a lot of pigment and, you know, it's easy to use. So I'm just going to continue to use this until I hit pan. Hopefully in the next month we can have a pan there. Maybe I can also hit pan in Christmas Stocking, which I'm also using today. Otherwise, I'm just, you know, continuing to use this. So let's go through the usage I have this month. So I wanted to hit 1 pan, which I have, and then I wanted to use all of the shades that didn't yet have pan in them. So, Reindeer. I've actually used this 5 times. Yes, 5 times. I don't really like this shade on me. However, I used this together with kind of like a bluish purple like this one. Not really, it wasn't this one. But I have like a purple one in my Panda's eyeshadows that I wanted to use. So I used that first and then I blended it out with this. And it created such a nice magenta shade, or like a really deep pink shade. It was so gorgeous. So I've been wearing that for 2 or 3 days now. And it's just awesome. So at least now I know I can use it that way. So maybe I could use these 2 together to get further on those later on. So I have actually used it way more than I thought I would. So 5 uses for that one. Slay I've used twice. Greetings I've used 6 times this month. Eggnog I've used twice and hit pan on today, like I said. This one had pan. Cider I've used 3 times. Oh, 3 times? I didn't know that. I forgot about those uses. This one had pan. Holly I've only used twice this month. Mistletoe I've used once. This one had pan. This one had pan. Christmas stocking though I have used 4 times this month. This one had pan. Fireplace I've used twice more. This one had pan. And this one I have used 30 times. So every day for a month. In my eyebrows all of the times. I also used it as a crease shade at least once, but maybe more. But it doesn't really help me with the pan because when I use a fluffy brush, it just goes on the surface. It doesn't really go down into the dip to expand it or anything. So yeah, maybe you can see that I have a little bit less of an embossing on the top because I've used that fluffy brush. And hey, I'm okay using it that way, even if it doesn't really help me with this project, like hitting pan specifically. But you know, at some point I want to use it up, and then having a dip around it will be nice, you know? So that was it. I have used all of the shades which didn't yet have pan in them. So I did do the no pan left behind and I hit 1 pan, so that is great. Until the next time, I want 1 or 2 pans showing. And of course, especially the mattes, I want to use them more because they are taking quite some time to form dips in. The one I have the least usage in is mistletoe, or like you can't see that much of a dip. However, I am very, very happy to say that all of the other shades have dips on them. And that's not a small task for an Odin's Eye matte. And I have dips in 6 out of 7 mattes. So that's good. However, you know, now the harder shades are here. So, I mean, next time I will be able to hit pan on maybe both of these, and that will be a great update. But after that, you know, except for Slay, which is a shimmer, I will only need to use those like maybe 5 times or something to hit pan on. But all of the other shades, I might have to use them, you know, 40 times each or something to actually be able to hit pan. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it, but it is looking pretty great now, and I am really excited for this update and the next one because I think we will have another great one. With that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this update, and that I'll see you in the next one. Have a great evening. Bye!